All right, John's giving me the thumbs up, so I think we're recording. Wanted to welcome everyone to the April Public Arts Commission meeting. It is April 28th, 2022. John, could you, I'm sorry, my cat noise. John, you establish a quorum.
Chair Waldman.
Here.
Vice Chair King.
Here.
Commissioner Corrigan.
Here.
Commissioner Couture.
Here.
Commissioner Janjigian.
Here.
Commissioner Moore. Commissioner Moore is absent, and Commissioner Tasic is also absent. We do have a quorum.
Okay. But we do have a quorum. Thank you, John. Let's start with public comments on items not on the agenda. I see we have a lot of people here, and it's great to see so many people who want to support the arts. Does anyone have a comment for an item not on the agenda? And if you do, go ahead and unmute yourself. I see, no, Kathy, no, yes, okay. Let's go ahead and start with the first item that's on the agenda, our meeting minutes from our previous meeting on March 24th, 2022. Has everybody read them? Have all commissioners read them and looked at them? And are we ready to approve them? I see Hillary's given a nod, yes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Hillary?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the March 24th meeting.
I hereby second that motion.
Okay.
John?
Commissioner Couture.
Here. Yes.
Commissioner Corrigan. Commissioner Corrigan.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Here, I apologize for being late. I was having some technical difficulties.
Okay, Commissioner Moore.
We were just looking at the meeting minutes from the last meeting.
There's a motion to approve the minutes, and we're in the middle of the roll call. So I'll take your vote now. Commissioner Moore.
Oh, yes.
Commissioner Janjigian.
Yes.
Vice Chair King.
Yes.
And Chair Waldman.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay. Let's go on to agenda item 2. We have a public art donation of a piece called Partner. And I hope everybody's seen the pictures in the packet. Before the commission starts talking about it, I want to see if there's any public comment on the possible donation. And if there is, could you raise your hand so we can count how many people, because I see a lot of people out there. So I see 1, 2 hands. So let's go ahead. So I see 3 hands. So let's go ahead. Let's have Dennis go first, then Carol, then Roberta. I hope I did that. Sorry, it's not alphabetical. Just the way you show up on my screen. John, do you want to go ahead and put a timer up and we'll give each person 3 minutes to talk?
Yes, I will. I also see Harry Price has his virtual hand up.
Okay. So Dennis, you want to go, let's get John to put up a timer and then we'll have Dennis speak.
Go. Thank you. My name is Dennis Young. I've lived in Los Altos over 50 years. I am partial owner and co-publisher of the Los Altos Town Crier, where the partner, where the bear is currently housed. I got involved with this. I am a Rotarian and got involved in the Bears Project. And this was an unpainted bear at the auction last fall, which I purchased. We then had a conversation about what to do with it, and make a long story short, thought that a veterans theme would be appropriate. Talked to people. You've seen in the packet the CV, the resume of the artist that did paint the bear. The bear has the emblems of the 5 services of our country. It is a politically neutral. We were very careful about that. Has an eagle on it. Makes no statement other than we support our veterans, and we thought it would be very appropriate for placement in the Veterans Plaza downtown, and that is why we are submitting it to the Arts Commission, requesting approval to work with you and the city on placement in the Veterans Plaza. That's all I have to say. I'll take questions.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. Let's go ahead and have Carol speak.
Hi, my name's Carol Dow. I am a Rotarian also and a longtime Los Altos resident. I am the proverbial bear lady that started the Los Altos Bears project. And I just want to tell you, these bears are very sturdy. They're easy to clean. I only had to clean them once with just a wet, damp rag. That's all you need. You don't really need to worry about graffiti. We had absolutely no graffiti sprayed on. We did have a couple bears where high school kids, I'm pretty sure they were high school, ripped off the glasses. And that was the extent of the vandalism. So the bears are vandalism proof. They're sturdy, they're easy to clean. And with the sealant that's been put on the bear, should last about 50 years outdoors. And I am here for questions if anybody has any specific questions. The installation is very easy. The bear itself is on a fiberglass base that's attached to it. That base is attached to a wooden base, which would be installed. And if it's on concrete, like some of our bears were, it's a tiny 1/4-inch hole that's drilled in to affix it for a very sturdy installation. Thank you for your time today.
Whoops, Carol, did we lose you?
Hello,
Okay, hello?
this is Ron Labatich too. I raised my hand, but you didn't recognize
Okay,
me. I'll wait.
Ron, Roberta was ahead of you, so
No
let's
problem.
go ahead and have Roberta make a comment, and then we'll call on you, Ron.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Roberta?
Hi, this is Roberta. I assume you can hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay, good. So, you know, my husband was a veteran, and I really do respect the veterans, and I respect, you know, the town cry and all the good work that they do here in town to get the news out to us. I think the bears are fun. However, they're really not art. I have my bachelor's and master's degree in art education, and this is really a mass-produced fiberglass mold that is used, and it's really not acceptable. Oops, I lost you. Hello?
Got you, Roberta.
We can hear you.
Okay, yeah, now I'm
hear you.
back. Thank you. So although these might be fun, I really urge you not to accept a donation. I know it's good, done with a good heart. And, you know, I think that, you know, this is not meant to be a criticism, but really to apply criteria to art that will be in the public. So please do not accept this piece of art or this bear. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Roberta. Ron?
Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well. I've been involved with the Veterans Plaza for, gosh, at least 5 years or so. And about that time, we got the name, the word veterans added to Community Plaza, which we've done, obviously. And then we came along and we put some benches over to the side there, all through the Rotary Club. We've done that on State Street. We were instrumental in providing a mural on private property next door. So we've all made a big commitment to this. And my take is that I think it would be very eye appealing. It would draw people into the plaza. If you saw the bears that were on display a couple months ago or so, all the kids came up and wanted to touch bears. So I think it gives a very warm feeling, if you will. And I think it will help drive more foot traffic to the plaza. And if you take that in line with State Street Market and all the things going on, it kind of all flows together. So I would hope you would approve of this. Thank you very much.
Chair Waldman, you are on mute.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Ron. Do we have any other hands up?
We did have Harry Price, yes.
Okay. Harry?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'm fortunate to be the president of the Los Altos Rotary Club this year. I'm grateful for the contributions of Dennis and Carol and Ron for all that they've done. As you know, the Bears was, Los Altos Bears was a tremendous success in our downtown, brought a lot of smiles. My favorite part of the whole program was not the, any individual bear, but just seeing all the parents and grandparents with the children taking photos. And the other funny thing about the whole bear project was, as soon as October came and we removed the bears, a lot of people said, oh, we missed them immediately. And so there's a lot of public benefit besides honoring the veterans to having a whimsical bear in our downtown Veterans Community Plaza. As you know, other than the one at State Street Market and the one at the Town Crier, and then there's one at El Camino by Chef Chu's, there are not a lot of publicly displayed bears right now. And so having this additional one, I think, will warm the cockles of our hearts of many Los Altans and do reap a benefit for the city in terms of added foot traffic, people making a point of, coming downtown to take their picture and then maybe eating at a restaurant or shopping at a shop. So it's got many benefits, but also the artwork, I don't pretend to be an art critic by any means, but it's like with all things, just like you can define pornography when you see it, you can define art when you see it too. And this is a charming piece of artwork. So I urge your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Harry. John, are there any other people with their hands up?
I don't see any virtual or physical hands raised.
Okay. So I want to, oh, wait, we've got Carol. John, is it okay if somebody's spoken and then they want to speak again? Is that
No,
permissible?
so each person is allotted one time to speak on each item.
Okay. So before I open it up to the commission discussing it, John, is it all right if I make a few statements?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I want to thank our friends from the Rotary for their generous potential gift to the city. And I'm also going to mention that I am the daughter of a veteran, of somebody who served the country, and I have the utmost respect for veterans. A couple things: when a donation is given to the city, the people or the person or the entity that is donating can suggest a location, but it's the public art to decide where it goes. We did get a number of emails to the Public Arts Commission asking us not to accept it for various reasons, including that they felt that it was an art object that was mass produced, and according to our guidelines, we are not supposed to take pieces that are mass produced. And then the one that troubles me the most is that we had an issue several years ago, potential issue with a project we were going to do So I did a little bit of research on the emblems that are used by the military. And I did find a document online from the DoD dated October 16th, 2015, important information and guidelines about the use of Department of Defense seals, logos, insignia, and service medals. So all of the seals are trademarked by the DoD. And section 1 here has slashes through the seals, and it does say that the following DoD and military seals can only be used by military departments. So it does concern me that this particular bear has military seals, and we want to honor our veterans and we want to do it right, and I don't want to skirt the law. So with that, I'm going to open it up to the rest of the commission to discuss.
Oh, no.
I think we all want to say thank you to Rotary for the Bears project, which was a lot of fun. I mean, definitely, I walked around several times with various people looking at the bears. I saw other people doing that, and I do think it was a very fun project and everyone enjoyed it. We have a lot of energy going into placing our own sculptures that we source through our Art Without Walls program. And a lot of our energy goes to that, and I'd like to reserve that energy for that, because that is not always an easy process in ourselves. I do wonder if the bear, because it is sort of very patriotic, could that maybe the Rotary keep it and bring it out for the 4th of July parade in Shout Park? That would be seems like a fun opportunity then for people to take a picture of every year, and then maybe he goes back to the VFW or something. But that's just my thought. So I'd kind of like to reserve our own energy for placing sculpture, because that's already a difficult process for our own stuff, with respect.
Anybody else have any comments?
This is Terry. I have a kind of a concern regarding the emblems. I know that they're protected by federal law, and I don't know whether perhaps the person who did this bear actually got permission from the DoD. So I don't want to act like they didn't, and I don't know whether they did or didn't. And then, of course, we'd have to follow all the rules of the DoD before we did anything. So I would like to know that. And then I don't think we could approve anything today without checking with the DoD and any other military organization that oversees the emblems and the service medals, etc. Thank you.
John, am I allowed to ask Carol a question of clarification?
Yes.
All right. Carol, do you know if the had gotten permission from the 5 military to display the emblem? Oh,
Carol, you're on mute.
okay. Yeah, you're on mute.
I'm sorry, I missed that question because the phone was ringing. And
Okay. I was asking, no problem, no problem. Do you know if the artist got permission from the 5 different branches of the military in order to display their seals?
I do not have that information. I did not ask the artist, and she did not tell me.
Okay. You know, I like Hillary's idea of perhaps making it a yearly thing where we bring it's brought out by the Rotary and people can take pictures, and perhaps like as kids get older year after year, they get bigger and bigger and they can take a picture with the bear. I think that could be a fun idea.
Another idea is the pet parade.
That's a good idea.
Because the pet parade is a lot of fun.
I would hope nobody has a bear as a pet, but it can be kind of Los Altos. Rotary. I think that
Annika, you're breaking up a lot and you appear to have frozen now. It's tough.
Okay, can you hear me? I'm gonna move here. Hold on.
The other thing sometimes that works,
going on
Monica,
rotation.
if you just turn off your camera, sometimes that works.
Okay. How's that?
Yeah, see, that works pretty good. I don't know what
Okay.
the internet problems are.
I look better this way anyway. Does any of the commissioners have any comments, concerns, ideas, questions?
My opportunity. I really appreciate Rotary offering.
Janet, you're breaking up too.
You're also very, very quiet.
Oh, okay. Not sure what's, is this any better?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I really appreciated the Rotary offer to donate this, and I really love the idea of honoring our veterans. And it's a cute, whimsical statue. And I actually went and visited it, and I thought it was really nicely done. And I thought it would be a great thing for children to see. So, you know, I don't know if there are other options in addition to the pet parade and, you know, bringing it out for 4th of July, but maybe there's another place, a venue where it could be maybe a school, something like that. But I was also concerned about the fact that the patches, I think, are cloth, and I don't know if they would weather well in an outdoor environment. But setting that aside, you know, going and looking at our donation guidelines, I know that one of the guidelines is that we are not allowed to accept mass-produced art. And when I went to the website for Cow Painters LLC, which is where the bears, I understand, came from, I mean, I think it's clearly apparent that the bears are mass-produced for kind of public art projects. But, you know, maybe there was something that we could have done there. But I think the really bigger concern is the Department of Defense and the trademark issue. Yesterday, I happened to be in a meeting with Los Altos residents, and our city manager was in. One of the residents asked a question about, you know, the legal fees who were spending on a bunch of legal issues. And one of the things that our city manager said is, you know, we really need to be careful about, you know, being careful to, you know, follow our guidelines, follow the rules, follow the statutes, so that we don't have legal issues. And so I think for that reason, thinking that, you know, we're not in a position to be able to say yes, since we don't know if there's any issue there with, you know, not having approval from the Department of Defense or whoever would give the approval for use of the trademark logos. So, but thank you. And again, I just wanted to say, I like the bear project too. It's really cute. So thank you.
Okay. Does any other commissioner have a comment, concern, question, idea? All right. With that, let's go ahead and John, do you want to take a roll call for a vote?
We need a motion and a
We
second.
have to make a motion.
Sorry, let's make a motion. Does anyone want to make a motion to either accept or not accept the donation of partner?
I'll make a motion that we deny the donation at this point. I just feel like we don't have enough information to know if the DOD has approved it. And I don't want to get into a situation where we've skirted the law. It's not my style. So I'll just make the motion to deny the donation at this point.
A second.
John?
Okay, motion and second. Commissioner Corrigan?
I wanted to make a friendly amendment, which is, in addition to what Commissioner Couture said, I was thinking, if it's appropriate, could we say, you know, we respectfully decline the donation and really appreciate the Rotary, all the work that they did, that they continue to do, and their willingness to donate this to the city. So that would be my amendment.
I would second that.
Okay, well, so on a friendly amendment, it goes to the maker of the original motion to determine whether or not they would accept.
I accept it.
Okay, and as well as the seconder of the motion.
I accept it.
Yes.
Okay, so it has been amended. I will do the roll call vote. Commissioner Corrigan?
I guess I vote yes on Commissioner Couture's motion.
Yeah, motion as amended. Yeah. Commissioner Couture?
Yes.
Commissioner Janjigian?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore? Commissioner Moore, you are on mute.
Apologies. Yes.
Vice Chair King
Yes.
and Chair Waldman.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Oh, you went back on mute, John.
I said the motion passes 6-0.
And I also want to reiterate to our Rotary friends that we appreciate the potential donation and all the work they do in the city and all the good causes they support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go on to the next item on the agenda, the Community Center Art. Hillary, you want to talk about it or you want me to?
Sure. So the new exhibit is up in the Community Center Gallery. We actually have our official signage up too, the lettering, thanks to John and Monica and putting up the lettering, and Manny, who did a great job. It looks really nice. And so it says Community Art Gallery. And the new exhibit, Where I'm From, is up. It looks great. I think we have 12 pieces from Los Altos residents, really representing 12 countries, I believe, actually, we counted. So some really just great work. If you haven't seen it, go down and check it out. It's really cool, and it really shows how diverse our community is, coming from all over to live here. And that was kind of one of the points of it. So, so go check it out. That's all I have to say on that. It's up, and we got it up, and there it is. It'll be up, I think, till October. So
October, and we'll need to come up with an idea for our next call for art, but we have a couple months.
Yes.
I see, I'm going to take a moment here. I see we have our newest commissioner, Dana, has joined us. John, is it okay for me to jump out of the agenda just to do some quick introductions?
Well, you beat me to it because I was going to do it. I was going to suggest that. So yes.
Okay. So Dana, your first item as a newly sworn in commissioner, we're going to put you on the spot and ask you for a quick introduction. And you have to put yourself off mute too.
Yes, hello. First, I want to start by apologizing. I was having major technical difficulties and I was finally able to get on. It's not Ring, it was me and my setup. So apologies, it won't happen again. So I am Donna Tasic. I've been sworn in and I'm very excited about being a member of this lovely team. I have attended a few meetings in the last couple of months and been really impressed with the discussion, and I like the subject matter as well. I joined because I like art very much. I studied some in college and just on my own. Love to go to museums and have my whole life around the world and in kind of an arty family. So that's me. And I'm really pleased and happy to be here. So thank you all for accepting me.
Welcome.
Well,
I hope you're good with the
technically, we didn't
hammer.
accept you. The city council did.
What's that?
We did not technically accept you. The city council did, but we are very glad you are here. And I think, Hillary, this is the first time that I can remember in a long time that we've had a full commission. So yay. Yay.
And
Good,
you're
now we can
all
do a little
welcome.
more work. Yay. All right. Thank you for letting me veer off the agenda, and welcome. All right, we're going to jump back to our agenda. Item number 4, our good friends, the threesome of the Midnight Stomp series. I believe John has an update for us.
Yes, thank you. As the commission remembers, at our last meeting, we talked about an offer by the artist for the city to purchase the piece. The commission asked me to talk with the artist and see if the artist would accept a payment of $25,000 to be paid over 5 years. The artist has said that $25,000 is acceptable, and would like to know if we would pay it over 4 years. So that is my report is that the artist is interested in 25,000 but paid over 4 years instead of 5.
That's
All right,
great.
that sounds good to me. Does anybody want? I think Terry, was it your idea?
Yeah.
Might have been Terry's idea.
Oh,
Good
I'm so
job.
happy.
Good job, Terry. Good job, Terry.
Good
You know me in
negotiating.
negotiation, man. As long as it has to do with money, I'll try to save the city as much money as I can.
I'm taking you the next time I got to buy a car. Okay. Does somebody want to
That's
make a
tough.
motion?
I make a motion to accept the offer to purchase Midnight Stomp at $25,000 to be paid over 4 years.
Terry, would you like to second
I'll second
it?
that motion.
Hey.
John? Sorry, you're talking faster than I can type, so I'm just trying to catch up.
Okay.
Here. And I would like to, maybe I can clarify what I heard, but I think I heard you say that your motion is to recommend to the city council that we purchase Midnight Stomp for 25,000 over 4 years.
Yes, that's
okay.
exactly.
That's what I thought I heard.
You heard Hillary correctly. Yes.
Commissioner Corrigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Couture?
Yes.
Commissioner Janjigian?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
And remind me the proper pronunciation of the last name. Tasic?
Yeah, Donna Tasic.
Okay.
Yes.
Commissioner Tasic?
Yes.
Vice Chair King?
Yes.
And Chair Waldman?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Yay.
Yay.
And if I could, one thing that I would recommend sort of as the next step for the commission is that later on in the agenda, you have an item to discuss your recommendation for budget. I would recommend to the commission that the appropriating of the funds be included in that budget recommendation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So speaking of sculptures, let's go to item number 5, loan sculptures. John, do you have any updates on, other than Midnight Stomp, which we just got an update on some of the sculptures that we discussed last meeting?
I do. So I'll just kind of I'll start at the top as they're listed in the agenda report. Jasper Priestess, I had reached out to the artist. He has expressed interest in fundraising dollars for the piece so that he can then donate it to the city. So that's sort of his interest is donating it to the city, but he wants to have funds raised for the piece. I'm not sure if he is planning to raise those funds himself, if he's wanting somebody in the community to do so, or if he's asking the commission to do so. But that's that piece. The next piece is Bird. As I mentioned at the last meeting, the artist has indicated that he will be collecting it. I do not know when he's going to come get it. He wants to take it and do some maintenance on it. The commission had discussed potentially the artist taking it and then fixing it and bringing it back. He does not have any interest in doing that. Midnight Stomp, we talked about. Dragonfly, the artist is coming, I believe next week to remove that piece. Pax Nova, unfortunately, the artist of Pax Nova passed away in the last couple of years, and so I do not yet have contact info for who actually owns that piece. So I don't have any further update on that. The newer ones, T2, I think we talked about, the artist is willing to sell that to the city. His price that he is offered is $15,000 plus tax. I think I reported that at the last meeting. And then of course the 4 new ones were just recently installed.
Did you touch on, and I apologize because you faded in and out on my iPad. Did you comment about arches, John?
Arches, the artist has taken it and taken it home. So it is no longer there.
Okay. With Jasper Priestess, do we as a commission, it's been here quite a long time, do we want to give the artist time to do some fundraising? Do we want a date by which it's expired and he has to come take it? What do people think?
Was he saying he would do the fundraising, or was he saying the city would do the fundraising?
That is unclear. If I remember right, his communication was, I think it would be a great idea to raise funds for the piece.
Maybe some clarification and bringing it back to us next month.
Okay.
Or maybe we can go ahead and say, do we want to give him a timeline and say, that's great if you want to raise funds, let us know. You know, that's maybe not something, or do you just want to get clarification now?
From my perspective, I think sorry, I was assuming that was directed at me.
That was, yeah, directed at you, John.
My preference would be if the commission has zero interest in trying to raise funds, which, you know, we've talked about in the past, some of the challenges with the city trying to raise donations. If there is no interest on the part of the commission, I would love to know that, so that it's not me just asking, oh, who are you thinking wants to donate or to do the fundraising? He comes back and says, oh, I thought the city could do it. And then we're waiting another month before.
Agree. I agree. I would try to clarify and say the city, I mean, I don't know if we need to vote on this, but I think we don't fundraise often, and I think we need to save that for something else. I would say we need to clarify that the city will not be doing fundraising for it.
I mean, he could come back and say that, you know, well, how about you just buy it outright without the fundraising? I kind of got the impression fundraising would be on his side, but we do need clarification.
He probably doesn't have he probably would like to have some funds to, number one, come and get it, or number two, take it off his hands, is my guess.
Yeah, I don't think he meant that. I don't think he meant he was going to do fundraising. I think he thought the city would do the fundraising. That's my guess.
Or some dubious person. So yeah, I think we go back and tell him, you know, that's not normally what we do, and that if he'd like to tell us what he'd like to sell it for, we might be interested in purchasing it for the city, depending on the costs.
Agree.
I'll come up with some numbers.
All right. Does anyone want to make a motion?
Just to clarify, where are we at this stage? I thought that we were going to decide whether we want to keep it or we don't want to keep it.
I remember last meeting, it was a vote of 5 people wanted to possibly keep it, and I was the dissenting vote. But if folks would rather not use our funds for it, maybe then we just, we should tell them outright. Maybe that's a question. Do we, if he comes back and gives us a price of 5,000, 10,000,
then we buy it.
Do we want to use our funds to buy it?
I think if the price is reasonable, I think we can ask the city council if it's okay for us to buy it, but I don't know what the price is. So I think that's what we go back and ask him is, you know, we can't do any fundraising, but, you know, if you would like to sell it to us, let us know what number you would like. And, you know, we would think about it. And then if he doesn't want to sell it, then he needs to come and pick it up.
I agree with that.
And John, if a piece is 5,000 or less, we do not have to go to city council, correct? Because that's what we did with Mother Hen.
I will have
I
to.
think it's a.
I'll have to confirm that.
I think the cap is 5,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll have to check. But I'm happy to reach out to him and let him know that the city is not interested in doing fundraising. If he's wanting to sell, how much, you know, what price he's looking at, and report back to the commission.
Do we need a motion to have you do that, John, or can you do that and report back next month?
No, I don't think we need a motion.
Okay. If everyone's comfortable with that, and I think if I can speak for everyone, I think that we are. Let's go ahead and have John talk to the artist and come back next month.
And John, can we get the website updated when at some point with the sculptures that are gone, Arches and Dragonfly?
Yes, I thought I took Arches down already, but I will make sure.
Can we also get the new sculptures added and the name of our newest commissioner added to the website?
Yes.
Thank you.
Your huge staff that you have so many people with.
Yes, could you snap your fingers and make that happen?
I mean, we could probably do it if you taught us how to do it.
Okay. I think John would not want us touching the city's website, but
we'll take care of it.
Okay. I hope this conversation doesn't happen again next month. All right. All right, item 6 on the agenda, call for art. And I guess we do have one dial-in user, so a person. So I'm going to ask if there's any public comments on our call for art before we discuss it. Nope. Okay. I saw photos that we have 2 new pieces that have been placed. Thank you, Terry, for taking such wonderful pictures. I confess it was probably the first time in years that I was not there for the installations. I was out of town, so apologies to the artists.
I wanted to tell you the stone dog, I've gotten so many comments, good comments. And when I went to take the pictures, I had to take like 10 stones off the dog to take the pictures because the cute kids are putting stones on top of the dog. It's the cutest thing in the world.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the artist, I believe, is from Santa Cruz, if I remember correctly. And Jenny, one of our previous commissioners, went down to visit him once and said he was a very, very nice guy. So I'm glad we have one of his pieces. And I hope the community enjoys it.
I was there when he installed it, Monica, and he's very, very kind. And he said that if we have any issues with it whatsoever, he gave me his card, which I passed along to Janet because she's on the maintenance commission or subcommittee. He was most concerned about the ears and the nose, I believe, but it seems like a very sturdy piece.
I'm just glad that we were able to get one of his pieces, and you know, the kids are already enjoying it, and that makes me happy. John, do we have any updates on any of the other pieces from the call for
I think the question was whether there's any other updates on any of the other pieces. There's still a couple artists that I'm working with. One artist in particular where we have the concrete pad has been poured. And so working with that artist to schedule an install date. We did have the one artist who had a couple of pieces. I think at the last meeting, the commission said, let's ask him about the city covering the cost of shipping, but we'd like a longer loan period. The number of years suggested was 10. I reached out to the artist and he said he does not do anything over 2 years at all.
Wow.
Then there is one other artist that I've reached out to several times and have never gotten a response back. So that was the piece that was going to go in at Los Altos Avenue and West Edith Avenue. So I will continue trying with him.
What piece was that?
So the two pieces that he didn't want to pay for the transportation. So where are we going to be then? Are we just not going to take the art or what? Because we're at a standstill.
We may end up not taking the art.
Yeah.
In the past, we've had times where either the artist realized that it's going to be too expensive to bring the piece to us, or they've sold it, or they've decided just one time, I think it was up in San Francisco in a gallery, and the artist decided to keep it in the gallery. So it'd be unfortunate because they are two really wonderful pieces, but
yeah, maybe somebody can replicate them.
Well, you know, artists don't like that kind of thing.
I
and
know,
didn't we just talk about trademarks?
Something like it.
Just to refresh my memory, those were the big metal hearts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the heart and the
heart
gear.
And the
the gear.
It was it's a sunset or sunrise.
Yeah.
That looks like a gear.
Looks like
it. Okay. Yeah, those were great pieces.
Do you have
It's a
any idea
shame.
how much it would cost to transport them?
I believe he quoted about $2,000
each
for
one way.
Yeah, for one piece, one way, and I think that may have been for the smaller one, which is the heart.
And then 2 years later, we'd have to pay to have them go away, I guess. Is that?
No, he can pay to come and get it. Otherwise, we're going to keep it.
Well, he might not
I'm
like
kidding.
that. So we're looking at possibly $2,000 each way. So that's $4,000 plus a $1,500 stipend. So $5,500. And I would guess we would have to pay someone to pack it, which could be expensive.
I don't think it's worth it. I do think we could end up getting on the hook for costs on the other end too. So I think that would be.
Well, and also if we don't pack it right.
Yeah, if it gets damaged.
Yeah.
Well, there are companies that professionally pack art that is oddly shaped for transportation, but it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's an art form to package the art. So
it just kind of sounds like it's not going to work out. It's too far and for too short a time, which is a shame. They're great pieces, but you know, it just doesn't seem like this is going to work out.
The artists might be receptive to if we extended the time, and would we be amenable if we said like 5 years, 10 years?
You wouldn't do it.
We tried that, yeah.
So
You'll do
I did
2
ask
years.
him, and he
I mean, the only other option is if we extended it to 4 or 5 years, if we increase the stipend, but we've never done that before.
Yeah.
And I hate to get into special cases, even though they are.
We're still paying to get it in and probably out. So that to me,
Right. I think we can find another artist that wants to have the exposure that would be willing to stay by our guidelines, I think.
I agree.
John, if the commission agrees that these pieces that were selected from our call for art are, we're going to say thank you, but no thank you to the artist, do we need to do a motion for that?
I would suggest, since they were approved by motion, that we do a motion to unapprove.
Withdraw our
Withdraw
approval.
withdraw the previous action taken. That's a better way to say it. Thank you.
John, just to make sure that we make the motion as complete as possible, do you remember the names of the two pieces?
I can go get them if you want.
Yeah, I can look them up.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
What was also the artist who hasn't responded? Because do we need to talk about that one next too?
Yeah, if John can jog our memory.
So the two pieces were Low Poly Open Heart and Sunrise by Matthew Duffy. And then the piece that I have not heard back from the artist was One-Eyed Jack. And actually I can call up
That's a rabbit.
That's the
I
rabbit.
believe so, yeah. I haven't given up on him. I'll keep trying to get a hold of him.
My experience is you got to call all different times of the day and different days of the week, especially with artists or anyone in that kind of, I would say, creative bend.
Yeah, no,
My clients that are like that, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to start dialing until I find them.
Yeah, they keep odd hours, you know.
And it's just that they're creative, and when they're
Right.
creative, they got to do their work and they can't be interrupted. And then when they're not creative, they have to be out somewhere where they can get some creativity. And all we do is drudge away.
They're in the zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So John, I'm gonna try to make a motion for the two, I want to say Patrick Duffy, Matthew Duffy pieces. Correct me if I make any mistakes here. I'm gonna make a motion that the two Matthew Duffy pieces, Low Poly Open Heart and Sunrise, we're going to ask John to contact the artist and tell him that we are rescinding the call for art approval for it.
I second that motion.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Commissioner, let's see here, Commissioner Corrigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Couture,
Yes.
Commissioner Janjigian,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Tasic,
Yes.
Vice Chair King,
Yes.
and Chair Waldman.
With a heavy heart, yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. Community Art Engagement Project, before we discuss it, are there any comments from the public? Nope, okay. Our Community Art Engagement Subcommittee, can we get an update, please?
We actually, John, do you have the slides?
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, I do. Let me get them up.
Hillary, do you want to kick it off?
Sure, or you can, Janet, if you want.
You're our lead.
I'm just on the subcommittee. The subcommittee met. They followed up a very successful previous event, met to discuss upcoming events and sort of what the path is going forward. So I'm going to let Janet talk more about that if you want.
So we put together some slides for you just to kind of guide us through the conversation. We'll go through these quickly too.
Are they showing?
So,
Yes.
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 okay, so if you move to slide 2, please, John. Okay, so this is just recapping what our objective is, just to keep in line with our mission, which is to gather input from residents to help us in our role in advising the City Council on public art. And the next slide, please. And as you know, we had a really successful event in Q1. This is just a photo that you've all seen before. Next slide. So we have decided kind of as a subcommittee that we were going to recommend doing some kind of event, on a quarterly basis, one in Q2, one in Q3, one in Q4. And so I will turn this over, if it's okay, to Jenna so that she can describe what our proposal is for Q2.
Sure. So we thought this would be a fun project where we host a rock painting event. I have plenty of river rocks in my yard that I am desperately trying to get rid of. So it would be a relatively inexpensive event. And we can host it either at Grant Park or the community center. We're still deciding on those details. But essentially, we would pick an image or a saying and have members of the community paint 2 rocks, one for them to take home and one potentially for us to keep. And we thought it would be a neat idea if we could collect all those rocks and maybe place them somewhere in a public setting so that the community could view them. So something similar to this, I guess, which I think would be really neat, maybe at Grant Park or another park setting.
And the only thing I'll add to that is that I did not realize until Jenna shared her idea for this, that this is a thing out there. If you Google this, the idea of communities coming together and painting rocks is huge. And I think it took off during the pandemic, especially. So anyway, it just seemed like a fun thing to get people of all ages, especially little kids who really weren't able to participate in the last event in Q1.
Exactly. And it's a positive, the rocks send a positive message. They're cheerful. They're, I think it would be a nice reflection of our community.
Do you think the rocks might be a great spot to put next to the dog?
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Ooh.
Yeah, that could be really cute.
Because the kids were already starting to do something like that. And that would be really cute, I think.
Yeah, Grant Park has so much space for us to work with.
It does.
And we were even thinking, I'm thinking out loud here, that if people want to take the rocks, if they like them, somebody wants to take one home, like that would be okay too. It's sort of like a fluid installation,
Right. The walkway to Gardner Bullis at the height of the pandemic had rocks everywhere, and the kids had all painted them from downtown all the way up past the school, just sitting on intersections or by mailboxes, etc. They've kind of gone away now because I walk up there a lot, but it was really cute to see all the different kids had every kind of rock situation they could possibly think of. It was sweet.
Yeah, it's very cheerful. And then people can take them home and put them in their gardens, and maybe we would catch sight of that throughout our neighborhoods. Be a unified project.
So I think it's an awesome idea. I think we just need to probably provide, paint, some sealant perhaps, so that the elements don't get to them. I love Terry's idea about doing them around the dog or near the dog.
The dog. I think
people are going to stack them on the dog and take photos. I think that could be a lot of fun. Kid selfies. My only comment is maybe the date, and I say this because I have a daughter who was born end of June, and school was always out and nobody was around for her birthday. We always had to push her birthday party up by a couple of weeks. So I'm just wondering and I know that it's going to be hard to get people the first week or 2 of June because they're doing the last maybe school things, but I just don't know if people are on vacation end of June, but that's my only comment about the date.
That's a good point.
I think the problem with this year is because maybe the pandemic is over. I know a lot of people that are going to go on vacation the minute school's out, but then we've got July 4th and everybody's gone that weekend too. So I think we try it. And if we only get 10 kids, it's better than no kids.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we can get, hopefully, I think the point is well taken, but I think we'll get some kids, and I think also we'll get some adults.
Yeah.
I think if you say free rock painting, I think you'll get, I think Janet is right. It's nice to have kids here because they couldn't really do the other one, but I think we'll get adults who want to do it too. So I think it's still worth trying, but the subcommittee can discuss the date for sure.
I'll paint a couple rocks.
There you go. Just
Unless
don't.
I'm not here.
Yep.
Move on to
I think it's a good idea.
And I think we need to nail down obviously where to put it and make sure we have permission from Grant Park to put the rocks there. Do we need probably permission to do that? So we'll want to check on that stuff. So
yeah, I can look into that.
Yeah.
John, do we need to go to the Parks Commission, or what what do we do? Any guidance here?
I don't think so, because the intent is that the rocks, would do the event and then people will leave the rocks, or they're going to take them with them.
They're
So
gonna
they would
leave, they're gonna take
two.
some and leave some.
Yeah,
Take
leave
some,
one,
leave
take
some. Possibly. Let me at least we'll give them a heads up. Let me talk with our maintenance and I can work with the subcommittee. We can talk with our maintenance and our recreation staff.
Yeah, it would be good. That would be helpful, so we don't put them over a sprinkler, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess in that vein, we should probably host the event at Grant Park. What does everybody think? Because we were vacillating between Grant Park and the community center. We liked like associating with the community center so that people identify our events as like city sponsored events.
I feel like doing it at Grant Park is a great idea because everybody kind of knows about the community center, but I think there's a lot of people in North Los Altos that have not seen South Los Altos. And I also think that once we're going to have maybe another art piece up by then, and then they can see that this is actually a great park because it's really a nice big park. It's one of the bigger parks we have.
I agree. And it'd be nice if we do have the other sculpture up to get the town crier and to kind of put some spotlight on there that there is art there and there is a great park and people should go to South Los Altos. So I'm in agreement with Terry on that. And Mary Jo said we could get access to the tables there and everything. So.
Oh, great.
And
I mean,
the
I
tables
like
are
to see-
covered?
What's that?
The tables are covered because it's going to be kind of warm that time of year.
I think she asked where we could put it. We could do it in the shade. I mean, I think if it's in the morning.
Between the buildings is very shady.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just going to say
Perfect.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really shaded there.
Yeah.
Great.
Sounds like a wonderful idea.
So we'll meet and hash out all the details. So.
Okay.
Thank you, subcommittee.
And then next month, hopefully John will have a yay from either maintenance or parks, and we'll have a date, and then we'll go forward.
We could probably also work offline too with John on that, I bet, as much as the subcommittee too. Yeah.
And then since we're going to talk about budget, do we want to budget maybe $100 for paint just in case?
Maybe we can move to the next slide so we can talk about exactly that. So we
Okay.
talking about Q3 and Q4. We don't really have any definitive proposal at this point, but we want to just give you a sense of timing. So John, could you move to the next slide? So here's our estimates.
Okay, good.
And it probably
Okay.
will be even less, to be honest, because like a little bottle of acrylic paint is like $1 at Michael's. So we could just get a bunch of those, and then the rocks are free. I'm happy to donate those. And then we were thinking it'd be nice to serve some light refreshments, like some lemonade and cookies or something. Just so.
How about brushes?
Oh, and brushes too. Yeah, of course. So we looked into those, and we can get like a pack of semi-nice brushes for pretty reasonable.
I forget, how much was the first event? How much did that cost us again? Just for looking at the budget.
Like around 500 or between 500 and 600.
So worst case scenario, if we spend 500 on these other events, maybe for Q2 you can budget 200, but maybe for Q4 you might have to budget 500. The only reason I'm thinking is you're probably going to have to be inside for that one.
Yeah, we have some fun ideas too.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if we want to discuss now or later, but
No,
we were
it's fine.
thinking of, like wreath making for the December one, something holiday themed that's non-denominational.
So the Jewish girl here is going to say wreaths are denominational.
Oh,
so.
okay. Okay,
Yeah,
well, good. I'm glad.
well,
Well, what about like we were talking about like candle making. We just wanted to get
Candle
away from
making
like
would be fine.
painting. Okay, cool. Yeah, we just wanted to get away from painting. We wanted to try a new medium. So
Right.
And I think candle making would be very, very popular. When we get to the budget, maybe we should say like $1,000 a year for these projects, or $2,000 a year, just to have extra, just in case.
okay.
Okay, and then next slide, which I think we've already discussed. We're done.
Thank you for putting that together, Janet.
Thank
And
you.
Monica, do you want us to also talk about the farmer's market?
I have it on my notes here if that's an appropriate thing to talk about right now, John.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you have some dates for us?
I do. Well, I have one for sure date, and that is, I believe it's September the 8th. We were assigned 2 dates, but I was reminded that the other date fell on our June
Meeting date.
day. And so I'm trying to get us another date. I apologize, I don't have it written down. The date that they originally given, or the second date, or a replacement date that I was originally given was October 13th. But I mentioned to the organizers that then makes the commission having 2 fall dates, and I thought you all would be interested in a summer date, so I'm trying to see if I can get you a summer date.
Okay. And then for the people who are on the subcommittee, do you want to wait till you have dates? And I think the subcommittee should run with this. They've come up with some really good ideas already. So I know that I talked about possibly having the Foothill Ceramics Club, but they are no longer in class as of end of June, so I might not be able to get them. So let's
we
wait.
haven't settled on any ideas yet, so we were just tossing around ideas. So I don't think we have ideas yet. So we talked about the ceramics, possibly doing that. If we do it in September, we might be able to do that then, or if we want to have the glass blowing demo. But I think everything is subcommittee. I think we're still kind of talking about the farmers market and figuring that out, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So my thought is we wait till next month when John can give us an update and hopefully have that second date set. I can talk to the Ceramics Club and see if the September date might work. I know I'm not going to be up there anymore, but
let's let us talk. Why don't you pass on the contact information to us, and we'll figure it out as a subcommittee and see what we want to do.
Okay, perfect. All right, going on to the next community art engagement project, and this is going to be all Hillary, hometown haiku.
Yeah, so we just wrapped up the haiku contest the 15th, and we're going to announce the winners tomorrow. Got a good turnout, 50 entries among 25 people, going across 4 age categories. So I was very pleased by that. I didn't know if we'd get any, so that was very nice. And almost all of them, I think all of them online too, or through via email, which is nice. So that was great, and some really interesting and fun ones, some really good stuff. Bruce from the Town Crier is going to run the winners probably next week. And then we partnered with Lava that they are going to display all of them at the Bubbly Stroll on May 20th. And I talked with Scott about that. And I think what we're going to do is print them and have them in tabletop frames, like an 8x11 frame on the spots where they're pouring bubbly. You don't need to buy a ticket to go in and look at them, and you can walk around and read the haikus, or you can buy a ticket if you're of age. So, so budget on that will be, I'll have to buy a bunch of frames because we do have a fair amount of haiku, but a lot of people did a couple entries so we can put them all on one page. But we can get packs of frames from Amazon and do that, and then maybe keep them for the gallery if we need it as well.
Okay.
Hillary, I have a bunch of frames, like a bunch of gallery wall frames that might work.
Do they have like a back thing so they can stand up?
No, but I might be able to fashion something.
Well, if you can, I mean, we can get packs of frames. I think instead of 10 for 30, we probably need like 2 packs, which would be 60. And I think we'll spend about, I might donate the gift cards for prizes if you will, so it keeps John and I from doing paperwork. So
John,
it'll probably be about 60 for the frame, so that's not too bad in the printing.
Okay.
Yeah, we had some really, really good turnout, so I'm pleased with that.
That's great. And from all age ranges too?
All age ranges, yeah. A little bit
That's
light on the
great.
teens, actually. I was a little surprised, but otherwise, great stuff from the 18 and older. Really, just really fun stuff. So it's been really good to see, and great stuff from kids, of course, but really fun.
and just out of curiosity, did most of the entries come in kind of last minute?
Yes, which is fairly normal, but that's typical.
Yep. It's good to see that with poetry and other forms of art, everyone waits till the last minute.
Yep. Well, there's the deadline. Yep.
That's when your best work is produced, you know, when you're procrastinating.
Exactly right.
Last
As we
minute.
all remember our school days.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Hillary, and congrats on it being successful.
Yeah, very happy with that. Yep.
That's great.
All right, will you dance with me? We've been discussing the possible decommissioning of Will You Dance With Me and or possible repair and moving it.
So I think I can report out on that.
Okay.
So I had the action item to talk to the Los Altos Dance Academy and to see if they might like that sculpture in front of their studio, and they would. They were delighted, in fact, with the idea. And when I went to go meet with one of their directors, I brought a picture of the sculpture so that they would know what I was talking about. And they're like, oh, no, I already know about that. And they really liked it. So that was a great thing. So they definitely want to, they would love to have it near their, the front entryway. They don't want it in front of their entryway because that's where kids get dropped off. And John thinks that there may be a cement pad already there that could be used for that purpose. The one thing that the director also requested from the city was if the city could landscape or put in tan bark on a dirt piece of, a dirt strip that is between the sidewalk and the street, because whenever it gets wet, and maybe when it's not wet, the little kids track in mud and dirt into the studio. And so she said she would love to have tan bark or some kind of ground cover there. And so John and I had a quick discussion about that and what's, how I can follow up and maybe talk to somebody in the city to see if that would be possible. And then lastly, in terms of the repair, so Hillary provided me with contact information for Ed Hart, the artist. And it turns out that there were two studios there. One of them has moved from California to Colorado Springs, so that's out. And then I went by the studio. I happened to be in Southern California. And so I drove by the second studio and they're out of business. So, so I think at this point, given that I think it's hard to get hold of the artist, I've reached out to try to get the names of conservators or art restorers from a couple of other art commissions, one in San Leandro and Walnut Creek, and I'm just waiting to hear back from them. But I looked at the sculpture and I mean, Terry, you looked at it too, so I'd be interested in your thoughts. I don't think the repair work is so bad that we couldn't, move it and then repair it later. I think it's not all that noticeable, but that's my report.
I would agree with you. It's not that bad.
Especially if the Dance Academy is willing to look at it and say, yeah, it's not that bad, and they'll take it as is, then I think we let them have it. I don't think we need to maybe promise them any repairs. I think maybe they can take on it. They could tie a big tutu around it, and that'd be cute too,
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'll bet they, yeah, and the other thing too.
They might do that.
Yeah.
Well, it is, I was gonna say, it is a piece of city-owned property, so the city is responsible for maintaining it. So if it's got a couple holes,
but if we kind of decommission and then give it to the dance studio, it's no longer the city's, right?
I was thinking that we would still keep it as a city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing too that I wanted to mention was that the director brought this up, that it would be fantastic having that in front of their studio, because it would help identify the dance studio is there. Because otherwise it's just, as you know, it's just a wall. and I don't really know that the dance studio is there. So she thought that that would be helpful for their business.
Where is
So-
damage? Oh, sorry, Monica.
Oh, go ahead and ask your question. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm looking at a picture of it online, and I'm just curious where the damage is, like, and to
On
what
the
extent.
lower quarter of it. And it's not really damage. It's just not flaked paint, but what's the word I want to use? It's like discolored, sort of.
I think some of the fiberglass or whatever the material is has decomposed. So there's
Right.
holes in it.
It's like peeling, isn't it? It's like peeling off.
Yeah, it's kind of peeling off, and there's some holes. I don't think they're dangerous. I don't think someone's going to put their finger in there and hurt themselves. But
No, it's not, they're not even that big. They're nail hole size.
I wonder if it could be filed down, if they can file it.
Someone might be able to file it. My worry is if it's already got some holes and decomposing, they probably need to be patched, or that the holes would continue to get larger over time due to weather and such. I'm not familiar with the material, so I don't know how it reacts to the weather. So I was just going to make one comment, just as I had told the Rotary that when someone donates a piece to the city, they can request a spot, but it's up to the Public Arts Commission to decide where it goes. We don't generally advertise whether it's, one time we did put a coffee cup, artistic bike rack in front of a coffee shop, and I think we put a sneaker bike rack in front of a sneaker shop, but we don't generally always try to help with the advertising of businesses. That said, I'm okay with moving it in front of the Dance Academy. I'd rather it go somewhere where the people want it. I know where it is right now, that Nature Gallery, she's not necessarily thrilled with it, so it would. But just want to make sure we don't set up a precedent of putting pieces that kind of correspond with businesses.
Fair enough, that makes sense.
Do we need to make a motion for this move?
John?
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Okay, then I guess
Janet?
I'll move that we relocate Shall We Dance from its current location to a location to be determined on 3rd Street in front of or in proximity to the Los Altos Dance Academy.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Commissioner Tasic,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Janjigian,
Yes.
Commissioner Couture,
Yes.
Commissioner Corrigan, Commissioner Corrigan,
Yes.
Vice Chair King,
Yes.
Chair Waldman.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
John, can you let the dance company know that the piece does need some repairs and we're looking into it?
Okay.
But we're going to move it as is.
Okay.
I don't think they'll care.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, and John, if you want me to handle any communications or whatever, introduce you, just let me know how I can help.
Okay.
All right. Let's go on to the budget. Do you have any slides for us, John, or should we talk it through?
I did not put together any slides.
Okay.
As indicated in the staff report, there was a subcommittee that was working on some recommendations, and so I'll leave it to the subcommittee.
All right. So the subcommittee was Janet and myself, and I'll let Janet chime in if I say something incorrect, but we went and we talked to John's counterparts at numerous cities, and we discovered there is no road map on how to budget for arts commissions. Each city decides differently what kind of projects they're going to take on, how much to spend, how much public outreach to do prior to committing to a project. So we kind of walked away going, oh, we didn't get the answer we're looking for, but it's good to know that everybody's got a different way of doing things. That said, John, from our last year, I believe our budget was, we had budgeted, I believe, 68,000. Was it 66 or 68?
I think it was 68.
68, okay. I'm just turning a piece of paper over. Okay, and we had budgeted, I believe, 35,000 for musical gamble, correct?
Yes, for the repair of musical gamble.
Which we have not done.
Correct.
And our call for art from that 68,000, do you know approximately how much of that?
So originally there were 9 pieces that were approved. You've removed 2 of those from it. So 7 times, about 10,000, a little over 10,000.
And then there was the call for art too, which ran us a little under 1,000, probably 750.
Which
Give or
one was
take.
that? Which one was that?
Because we had to pay the call for art itself. We
Oh,
went
that's
through
right. You're
Cafe,
right.
so there was a cost, but it was like
So another-
$1,000.
Yeah, another
So we'll
1,000.
say 11. We purchased Mother Hen for 5.
Correct.
And other expenses from last year.
We had some minimal expenses for the community center art gallery, a couple of the community engagement projects. I would say we've probably spent another 2,000 to 3,000.
Okay, so before that we were at around 51, so we're looking at maybe 53, 54 out of 68. Oh, sorry, no, wait, take that back. We didn't spend the 35. So we're looking at 16K plus another 2 or 3, so 18, 19K, under 20K out of 68. So because we've never done the budgeting before like this, before we even discuss, John, the money that we had kind of allocated for things last year that we didn't use, we just roll that over to the next year, correct?
Yeah, so the way the budgeting works for this is it's you know, the city council approves a capital improvement project. Unlike operating the operating budget, those dollars remain with the project. So any dollars that are not spent remain in the project. And so as the chair is indicating, if we have $40,000 to $45,000, those dollars will roll over, and any dollars that are appropriated for the coming year will be added to that amount.
Okay, so we're looking at about 40 to 45,000 from last year.
Would you clarify that when that rolls forward, it rolls forward with that project? So it's not
Right.
like you can then spend that on something different the next year. It has to be spent on whatever it was planned originally to be spent for.
So if we had planned 35,000 for musical gamble, then in theory, it's still allocated to musical gamble, correct?
Right.
Okay. If we want to unallocate for that item and move the money elsewhere, is that a problem?
No, you could do that.
Okay.
What you do is you let John lets our finance person know that you want to cancel that project and then reprogram the money, and then they'll tell you whether you can do that or not, because it's city discretion. If it's money that came out of the city's operating budget originally, it's up then to the city council at some level whether to let you program it for something else. But if it was money from the 1% art, that may be a little bit different situation. John, if I've misspoken, John will fix me.
No, you're correct. And the good news is that the monies that were appropriated last year came from the Public Art Fund. And so they can only be used for public art. And so it's not like we took general fund dollars for the project, and now, you know, if we give them up, they go back into the general fund. So they are Public Art Fund dollars.
Okay, so we don't know, we probably actually need to have the maintenance subcommittee look at Musical Gamble and maybe contact a few restoration organizations and see if it really does need a $35,000 restoration job.
We're in the middle of kind of doing that. I mean, we've met and I've got an estimate for a survey for, I think, 5 of the pieces that we think the city, that John had kind of passed on, that would kind of be on the city's scope. And I think just doing a survey of that is going to be about 4,500. So I know that
when you say a survey, you mean having someone come out and look at it?
Right. Looking at not just Gamble, but I think the other 5 pieces that were kind of in most need of stuff. And I think we have had a couple people look at the structural aspect of Gamble, and we think it's safe. So one thing the subcommittee is kind of looking into, is there a way to have it painted? Then we're trying to see if we can find kind of a painter who might be able to do a good job at less than $38,000.
Okay. So we're possibly looking at doing some maintenance, which I think we should use some of our funds for, but we don't have an idea of how much we could possibly be looking at, or if some of these things can wait another year or not, correct? All right, and John, our budget is due to the council when?
Today would be the day that we would need to make that recommendation.
Okay, that makes it exciting. Do we want to take a not musical gamble, but a gamble and try and come up with a number? Because we need some kind of number to give to the city council for possibly doing maintenance.
We can. I mean, we could go ahead and pay for that survey, which I think was, I think around 4,500, and then, we could always build on a bigger number. And if we don't spend that much, to paint or restore some of these pieces. Do you want to go about that way?
And then, John, since we have money in the bank, so to speak, as a commission, if it turns out, let's say we say to city council, we want, let's say $50,000 to do maintenance because we don't know how much, can we go back to the council and say, oops, it's really going to be 75, we need more money, or is that doable?
Yeah, I mean, there's future opportunities for budget adjustments as needed.
Okay.
I would recommend, I think having a professional come out and give us a better estimate on what maintenance of some of the pieces would actually cost is a very much a worthwhile idea. I think that would be very beneficial and helpful, especially if that survey can tell us, well, this sculpture needs this work, but it needs it in the next 5 years.
2 years.
Versus, oh, this sculpture needs this work, but it needs it in the next 6 months. That would be very beneficial.
So Hillary, do you know if the survey person can do it in the next maybe 2 weeks?
I don't know if he could get it in the next 2 weeks. I could ask. I mean, do we want to go ahead and vote to kind of get the survey done?
I think so.
Well, if I could, the commission is talking about budget recommendations for next year. And so if it's approved, then the dollars would be there July 1.
Okay.
So we'd be looking at over the summer.
Okay.
Or could we,
for the next 2 weeks? Okay.
Could we take the money that was allocated towards maintenance of Musical Gamble and direct that towards getting the survey done sooner rather than later?
Possibly. I'd have to think about it. I would maybe suggest that the vice chair reach out to the member of the subcommittee reach out to the individual and see what their availability is.
Okay. To do the survey. Okay.
Yeah, to do the survey, they may say, we're not available until August,
October.
October, or whenever.
Okay. If he says I'm available like next week, am I just, where do you want me to go with that?
John's thinking.
What-
I'm thinking.
I just have a thought. I think that the survey guy will probably not say that musical gamble is going to cost $35,000 to fix. So if we use the 41 or 45 or whatever it was to have the survey, then at least we know what 4 pieces are going to cost us. And I think it's well worth us doing the survey.
Okay. Okay, so do we need to make a motion to go ahead and say yes to the survey, or just is it more of a scheduling issue at this point?
The question I had for John was, can we redirect some of the funds from Musical Gamble for the survey itself before July?
I think we probably can, because the way the capital project was structured was were these annual public arts projects. Since we're looking at maintenance, I think we can do that. And if it's if it's less than 5,000, then even I can approve that.
Okay.
As an operational matter. So maybe if I could suggest, I'll work with the subcommittee on to figure out timing and make it happen.
Okay.
So with that thought, why don't we keep the 35,000 for the next budget minus whatever the survey costs, and then if it needs to be adjusted, if the survey comes back that we need to spend a lot more than that, or we'll worry about it when we get the results from the survey, which is most likely going to come after the budget goes in. But John, do we need a motion to go ahead and do the survey?
No, I don't think so, because again, given the dollar amount, that's something staff can do.
Okay. So thinking ahead to the budget, and I'm just grasping at straws here because we've never had this kind of activity before. So we're looking at possibly rolling over around 31,000 for maintenance, which could go higher or could go lower, we don't know. We have approximately 7,500 for for Midnight Stomp. We're looking at, I'm going to say $2,000 for community engagement. I'm writing this down. So that gets us to around 40. We'll probably want to do another call for art. So, maybe we should budget 10 or 15 for that. I'm going to put down 15, 30, 32, almost 40.
Monica, if you're doing that, sorry to interrupt, if you're doing the call for art, we do a $1,500 stipend for each one. So you're thinking
Correct.
that we get 15 times, you think we're going to get that many? Well, that'd be great.
It would be great, but it also, do we have enough spots for them? Also, last year's, you'll find, Tara will find spots.
Find spots.
And last time was the first time we used what's called Cafe, which is a nationwide search for art that artists use who either looking for galleries or looking to place public art. And that ran us about $750 or $1,000, but we got really good quality art from it. So maybe 15 is a little high. I'm just putting a buffer there just in
I think
case.
it's better to have the 15, to be honest with you.
We might get a lot of spectacular stuff, or we might get you know, stuff. We don't know. And it's just a big unknown. But that brings us to around a little over around 50,000. I wanted to suggest also that we have a placeholder of maybe between 65 or 75,000 for possibly looking at a piece that we commission, a site-specific piece that we commission. And that would be a long process of deciding where we want to put something, doing a call for art, finding an artist, working with the artist. So this would not be a 2-month process, but that would, I'm thinking maybe budgeting 75 for that.
Are you talking like a gateway project?
A gateway project, yes. Yet to be determined. And is there anything I could possibly be forgetting? Oh, John is raising his hand. Yes. Yes, John, you may speak.
The one that I mentioned during the loan sculpture, the tower, the piece in front of the community center.
Yes. And that was 15th at the tower.
If the commission is interested in purchasing it, which I realize now.
Okay, I'm looking at the tower page. It is, it expires in February of 2023. Did we change that date, or is it still 2023?
So it's still that date, though the artist was amenable to changing it to when it was actually, 2 years from when it was actually installed. I have not done that because I was waiting to see if the commission was interested in recommending purchase of the piece.
Okay. Well, that helps make the number a little bit bigger, around 140,000. And we have approximately, what, 320 left, give or take, John?
Yeah, at least.
Okay.
I thought we talked about buying the tower. Did I?
I thought we did too.
I thought we did also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We got it
I
approved.
didn't dream it.
And didn't it need to go before the city council as an action item?
Yeah.
Yep, at that price it would.
Yeah, it'd be similar to the Midnight Stomp.
Does someone have a picture of that? The tower piece? Or
I do on my phone.
John is nodding his head.
John has it.
Give me just a minute.
My phone.
And Monica, would you want to throw in a poet laureate fee and do that program?
I think that would be.
I think that'd be great
idea.
because you got good, you got a very good response for your haiku.
We did. I just ran into the poet laureate of San Mateo, and she said you can use it to get grants. So it's very useful.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we like the grant idea. How much do you think that would?
I mean, you could say 200. I mean,
do you want to round it up to 1,000 for in case you want to have another contest?
Yeah,
or?
let's round it up in case we need to pay like pay a fee for a speaker or something like that, or hold a classroom or something.
Okay.
Also the tower.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Okay.
Then Hillary, remember we had the micro grant for $1,000 as well that we said we were going to revisit in September.
Yes, that's right.
So we're looking around 142, which seems like a big number.
Yeah, that's not so big. Yeah.
There it is.
There's the tower.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
It's right outside of the community center.
Yeah, at the entrance, yeah.
All right. I'm trying to think of other things we might want to do. Does anyone have any suggestions, ideas, thoughts of additional buffers? Maybe?
Just to interject, I feel like we have a lot on our plate already for this year. And since it's the first year that we're doing a budget, I feel like let's not try to get over exuberant and let's just try to get everything done on budget of what we're planning to do, because we're doing more than they did last year. So just my 2 cents.
Okay.
I agree. I second that non-motion motion.
Quick question. I don't know that there's a lot of money involved, but can you refresh my memory whether you had asked that Mother Hen be moved, or at least even just moved back on the base that it's on? I don't think there's a lot of money involved, but I was out there today because of the farmer's market and also last week, and just about had a heart attack when I saw kind of how.
Yeah, Mother Hen is getting smacked again.
No.
John and I have talked about it. John, it's on his list to have maintenance move it back slightly on its pad.
Yeah, because there's a good 8 inches. Not that it could go back all the way 8 inches, but it could easily go back 6. And they could move the plaque that goes with it onto the pad. And
yes,
yeah, I about had a heart attack today when I saw it.
I'm glad someone's looking out for Mother Hen, and yeah, it's on the list of things to do.
Thank you. I just wanted, you were looking for things, and I thought, oh, I don't know if there's a thing there or not.
And John, correct us if I'm wrong, but when it comes to maintenance, moving a piece, that cost is not it's not shouldered by the commission, is it?
Well, I will answer that, but I will first say that none of these costs are shouldered by the commission. The commission is makes recommendations on the use of the funds,
okay.
Which the council approves. So, it's city commission, city funds, etc. But to answer the question, technically no, because the cost is staff time to move it.
Okay. And that is exactly what I meant, John.
Yeah.
So it's not actually shouldered by us. We're not writing checks. So have you been taking notes, John? I've been scribbling some notes here for the budget.
Yes, I do have my notes.
Can you try and reiterate everything, and then I guess we make a motion that to have it more formally written up to be presented to the city council.
So it was 1,000 for the I apologize, I don't remember the name of it. It's the community sort of grant program.
Micro.
The micro grant. Thank you. 1,000 for the poet
Laureate. Yeah.
poet laureate. 30,000 for maintenance of sculptures, with the understanding that number may go up or down once we have a better idea, but we can handle that as we get to it. I wrote $7,000 for the Midnight Stomp series for the first year of the Midnight Stomp series. 15,000 for Call for Art, and that would be for the Art Without Walls program. 75,000 for a large commission piece. I wrote down 20,000 for the T2, with the knowledge that number should come in lower than that. And then I believe it was 3,000 for community engagement.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, and the community engagement would cover both the quarterly and the farmers market, and maybe anything else that the subcommittee comes up with.
And I actually have that comes out to 152,000.
Okay.
But I would appreciate if somebody can confirm my math.
Before we move on, when you're ready, I have a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
Okay, so does the 30K in maintenance, would that include the Shall We Dance possible patching?
Yes. Yes.
And then the 75 for a gateway piece, is that enough?
No.
It might not be, but without doing some research and having the commission decide what we'd like to do, we just don't know.
And we probably won't get it done next year anyway.
And so
it's gonna take us a while to find what we want to do, and then we've got to have a call for art. And
I mean, I'm not familiar with how the city wants to budget, but wouldn't we want to allocate or reserve some of the funds, for that purpose?
So John, if let's say that a subcommittee comes back and says, we've got this great idea, it's going to cost, I don't know, $100,000. Do we have to, can we go back to the city council and say we need a little bit more? Are there certain points in the calendar where that's appropriate? How does it work?
Yeah. So absolutely. So there are, as I said earlier, you know, we can throughout the year make modifications as needed. There's a couple of ways to do that. There is a natural point in the calendar shortly after the sort of the 6-month mark of the fiscal year, which I realize is the end of the calendar year. The council does take a look at what's called the mid-year budget and makes adjustments then. So certainly it could happen at that point. We've also had times where we have taken budget items to the council midstream, you know, if we are ready to go, but you know, the mid-year budget or the annual budget process is still a number of months away, we could take a separate standalone agenda item to the council.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, may I ask a question before we go further?
Yes, go ahead.
I was wondering, when you're mentioning farmers market, I don't know how we're related to them, and what do we do with farmers market?
So for the farmers market, the city is getting a spot, and I don't know if it's every week, John, or nope.
No.
So the farmers market, they have booths and they allocate, certain organizations can use the booths, and the city has worked with Lava, I believe it is, to secure some dates. And there's different commissions and Parks and Rec who want to advertise either their commission or the possible programs they have. So we're looking at having not only trying to advertise the Public Arts Commission, but also have either events such as a glassblower come just to get people in and talking to us.
Yeah,
So that's-
so last week it was a city function. I think it was Parks and Rec was there. And today Los Altos School District, elementary school district was there. So it's it's a public use space, and the city gets, I don't know how many days we get it either, but they're rotating it around and with other organizations, so.
So it's for advertising. We don't do any art there. We don't get kids involved in art there. Just
we're thinking of possibly, we can't do anything where an artist sells their work, if I remember correctly, but we are thinking of having like a clay club or glass blowers or something to get the public involved in art or viewing art.
Lovely. Thank you.
Following on the farmers market, does the budget include money for the brochure? I think.
Oh, no, it doesn't, and it should.
Just working on that, and maybe a sign for the farmers market.
And you know, we could use that sign for the Grant Park outing too, as well.
Yeah, for the rocks. Has anyone looked into possible pricing?
Yeah, I think we talked about it last meeting. The banner was pretty inexpensive. I think it was maybe a couple $100 at most. And then the brochure was, she had quoted me, I want to say, for some reason I'm thinking 600, but I think we had allocated like 1,500 just in case. And that was for like copies to be made, to be printed. And
that price sounds about right compared to what I pay for printing. So
yeah. I know we talked about it last meeting, so I can go back to the notes.
Yeah.
See what we talked about. Let me see.
John, should that get all rolled into maybe community engagement and we bump the price up slightly?
Yeah, we could do that.
That's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because really, the farmers market is really more community engagement than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Spread the word about the art.
And we had, correct me if I'm wrong, John, we had
$3,000.
$2,000 down for that? So I'm thinking 3 or 4, maybe 3 or 4 just in case. 3, okay. Maybe bump it to 4
I would
just in
make it
case.
5, Monica.
All right. Terry says 5.
The only reason
Terry
I'm
says
saying that
5.
is because what if, I mean, with the haiku thing came off really well. The everybody's an artist came off very well. We could be the hottest thing in town for all we know by the time the rocks and everything, and we want to have brochures for everybody.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
it would-
too. I think I mean, with some of the stuff, you want to cap it just so space-wise, it's not a mob scene, and but brochures, yeah, brochures, as long as they're made that we can hand out for a while. If we go back and have a table at the Art in the Park in Lincoln Park,
Yes.
I will have brochures, and we'll have so yeah. So those we might. I think she's right. We want to be able to spread that out. I agree.
So everyone's okay with bumping up the number by a couple thousand?
5,000. Yeah.
5,000? All right, John?
Because if you print out 2,000 brochures, it's way cheaper per brochure than if you print out, and then if you print out 1,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say
just
we should do like a bulk number to begin with, and then go from there.
Yeah. Right.
And for the brochures, would you envision handing them out at the June community engagement rock project? You guys have you'll come up with a better name than I just said, but
I don't know about that one, but because kids, I mean, they're not going to have any.
But the parents will be there.
Maybe.
We could have some. I think you can have some on hand. I don't think you need to hand out 500 because people will. Well, I think you can have
a lot of people just take a picture on their phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We could have like one of those stands, you have at like broker stores, Terry, with just
Yeah,
like
well,
kind of displaying it. People could
We
take
can
it.
make a QR code of the brochure and have that there too, and then they can.
Okay. I'm just thinking about like timing wise when it should be done by.
Well, if it's not done by then, I think it's fine. But
Okay.
yeah.
All
By the
right,
farmers
John.
market, by the time we do the farmers market, it would be
We
nice.
should
to have that.
definitely have them.
Yeah.
John, you want to read off the new number? I won't even do a drum roll.
Before that happens, can I just ask a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Did I hear that, or are we planning to have some presence also at the art festival where they have a lot of sculptors and things like that?
Which art festival? The art in Lincoln Park or
Yeah,
Art
yeah.
One? Well, we were with we were kind of with Parks and Rec last year. They had a table, and so we were kind of with them at the table. So we can do that again if they want us, or we can do something else, I'd imagine. So whatever.
Yeah, it seems like that would be a good place to encourage potential sculptors, to loan us some works, and they're right there. We can talk to them, even choose one.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know if it's too late to add that. I don't know if there's much of a budget. It's just talking to people.
Great idea.
It's really getting space it's really working with the organizers. I don't know if we'd want to, well, Art and Wine is so big and such a different animal, but Art in the Park, it's working with, I guess that's Rotary, to get a space and have a table.
It is Rotary.
Yeah. So that might be, you might want to take on a subcommittee to work on that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to unless someone else wants to. I mean, I'm happy to.
We can't accept art from the.
No, at last.
What? We can't.
We can't say, yes, we'll
Sorry,
take
so
your
we
art.
can
It
or
has to
cannot?
go through a committee. We have to vote on it. But yes, you can definitely. Yeah.
But at least explore, with
Absolutely.
who's there.
Yep.
Okay. I don't
So-
know when it is. When I can't remember when it's in the summer. It's usually
It's
hot.
in the summer. I could look it up, but last year I did go and I spoke to a couple of the artists, and some of the people are like, well, a loan would be okay, but they're really there to sell, but you don't know who's going to be there next year. It doesn't hurt to ask.
Well, and like Jeff Owens, I think usually shows. He did arches. I think he shows, and then there was some really nice pieces. I remember taking a picture of the price tag, and it was quite high. So there's some some really good stuff. It's just really high. So yeah, absolutely. Yep.
It is August 13th and 14th.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. John, what is our dollar amount?
154,000.
Okay. When the budget goes to council, John, are you the one who puts a little more information around each item so that if the,
Yeah, if this is the recommendation of the commission, then I can put together a blurb that will go along with the budget report.
and then I assume it is presented in a city council meeting. Does somebody from, if not one, but many people from the Arts Commission probably should be in attendance to answer any questions, correct?
You could.
Okay.
I can also answer questions for the council as well.
Okay.
Sorry, John, did you say 153,500?
I said
think so,
154.
154.
154
Oh, okay.
because I like
I
to
don't know
round.
where I got the 500. Okay, got it. That's what I got. Thank you.
Before we make a motion, does anyone else have any other thoughts of projects or maintenance or anything else that they think we should include? And I agree with Terry that we do seem to have a lot of things going on, so I'm not trying to add to the plate. I'm just trying to make sure that we're as complete as possible.
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we are good. All right, it is motion time. Anybody want to make a motion?
Is it to accept the proposed budget?
I think so, yes.
Anybody else besides?
As discussed previously for 154,000.
Terry, do I hear you making the motion?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make the motion. I hereby make the motion to accept the budget for 2022-2023 year of $154,000 for the Art Commission.
I second it, if you want a second.
We do indeed need a second.
Okay.
So it's been moved and seconded. Commissioner Corrigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Couture,
Yes.
Commissioner Janjigian,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Tasic,
Yes.
Vice Chair King,
Yes.
Chair Waldman.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Ooh, good job,
Yay.
guys.
Spend money, spend money. All right, that's gonna pay for a lot of rocks.
Make art.
Thank you guys, because what's amazing is to have a commission develop an effective budget for the first time or kind of the second time.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah, but it's amazing to listen to, and it's an amazing example. So thank you.
It's actually not scary, Monica. This is responsible government in the present. We intend to keep it that way.
Good.
Even though we are artists.
Well, I'll be gone in about a year and a half and handing the reins over. And I am glad to hear that the current commissioners will continue to be conscious of budget recommendations and such. We're getting down to the wire here. Our last agenda item, the Los Altos Art Task Force Group. Do we have any? I am part of the subcommittee. Do we have anything to report on?
Not right now, except that we are partnering with Lava for the Bubbly Stroll to display the haiku. So that's nice. That we are they are very excited about that, and that we'll be able to do that, and that should get other people out to the Bubbly Stroll to see the haiku. So that's a nice partnership.
Yes.
So, but we'll try to meet again, have the task force meet again.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe we should reconvene to figure out another outreach.
Yeah.
Yes. And Hillary, you're going to be reaching out, or I guess John will reach out to everybody who submitted a poem and let them know that they're going to be on display.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay.
It's going to be fun.
Sorry?
It's going to be fun to see.
Yes. As somebody who actually submitted a poem, I'm going to be interested to see how it's displayed. Informational items, John.
I have nothing beyond what I've been reporting on throughout the evening.
Okay. Am I allowed to put in an informational item?
Mhm.
Okay. Since our last meeting, Alegria went to the city council and they approved the donation at the April 12th meeting. So we have another sculpture that we now own. Hopefully there will not be a lot of maintenance for a long time. Does anybody else have any informational items? Nope. All right.
The only other informational item I can tell you is I've had a number of people call me and thank me for Serengeti.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's a popular one.
Nobody else has heard from that, but everybody seems to love that piece.
It was well placed. I've said before, but y'all did a great job placing the sculptures.
Yeah, it was, the subcommittee, I tip my hat to you. It's perfect there, so.
Thank you. Well, we
And we
spent
need-
a lot of care and thought,
And
but I
then
know
I
there.
kept driving around going, oh,
Yeah.
not here, not there.
Yeah,
Take a picture of that.
but we are getting some pushback with the obelisk at Grant Park, so we'll see how that goes.
Where is Serengeti placed? 'Cause
Mary
I-
Mead. It's at
Mary-
Mary Mead. Yeah.
Okay.
Obelisk is not up yet, correct?
No, the pad is there though.
Okay.
The pad is there, so everybody's calling to find out what's gonna be on the pad.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is we now have a lot of space if we need to move it.
Yes.
You know, where
when
Dragonfly
you say you're
was
getting-
not the worst place for obelisk, actually.
Well, I think they just want to know what it is. They're very possessive of their park, and they should be.
Are we considering moving it?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh,
I just
okay.
think they have a lot of space for it, so.
Okay.
Terry, when they asked, you say it's something's coming?
I have it on my camera, so I send them a picture of it, and I say it's
Okay.
a great piece, and it complements the dog.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't find it offensive whatsoever. I don't know why people are up in arms about it. I have a question. I just remembered that one sculpture at is it in Lincoln Park? The one that the artist was going to replace with another one. Whatever happened with that?
Bird. I think Bird
Yeah.
gonna come take it.
So at the last meeting, I reported that the artist was proposing replacing it. The commission saw the
It was too
proposed-
pokey, too sharp.
proposed replacement, and we're not excited for it.
It looked like it was
Yeah.
it had very sharp corners and sharp edges, and so that's why we were not so pleased.
So is he going to repair the existing one and just?
Yeah, so as I reported earlier, he is gonna, at some point, will take it back. And he was not interested in taking it back, repairing it, and bringing it back. So he's gonna take it and.
So then we'll have that space, or there's an opening in Lincoln Park too, so.
And it looks like there's going to be an opening on, was it Edith and
Yeah.
it was Altos Avenue too?
I haven't given up on that one.
There might be.
I don't blame you for not giving up.
Keep trying. Potential future agenda items. I actually have two, and they come from Janet and I talking to John's counterparts at other cities. And Janet, if I don't represent these well, please chime in. The first thing is that as part of our percent for art, and I know that that's not the actual name of the ordinance, but that's how we refer to it as, that a developer has the option of placing the art on site as opposed to paying the 1% fee. And other cities were surprised that we hadn't had that happen yet, that the developer decided to put it on site. And our percent for art funding is so new that might be why it hasn't happened. And they were warning us that it's not if, it's when. And we looked at the information that that the developers are given as far as how to pay and how to place things on site. And it looks like our ordinance is not particularly robust. And I know like in places like San Francisco, there's rules about things have to be, if they're on site, they have to be publicly accessible for a certain number of hours a day and such. So I think that we need to look at beefing up the ordinance just in case the developers want to put something on site. And I looked to Janet and have I represented that okay? Does that sound about right?
Sounds perfect, yeah.
So I think that we need to make that a future not a budget, agenda item, and that a subcommittee needs to be formed to work on that. And the other bit of feedback we got talking to the John counterparts at other cities is that public art on private property, there should be some say by the Public Arts Commission as far as what is and isn't placed. I know that there's, you know, it is private property, but either a permitting process, one city has, they have a signage ordinance that covers murals and such. So I think that should also be looked at as well. And that could be a future agenda item as well.
Yeah, people were surprised that we didn't have something like that.
What is a signage? Signage what?
So signage as far as placement of a mural is somewhat like signage, that it's maybe temporary, it's advertising something, or it's presenting something other than just the color of paint on the wall.
Thank you.
So we may want to crack that nut and look into that. But does anyone else have any other potential future agenda items?
No, I'll just comment that both of those would potentially involve changes to the municipal code. And so you might
Right.
want to gang those together in one subcommittee.
Okay.
And there also is a sign ordinance in Los Altos, so you might want to look at that first.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's all part of the Muni code. That's what I'm saying is it's
Right.
all Muni code changes. So it might be easier to process as one package.
And it's something for our newest member, it would have to go to city council and get approved. We don't just get to make, we don't get to make up the rules and go with them, but and thank you, Anita. And are there any other potential future agenda items that someone can think of? I see, Janet, you got your hand up.
So I have a proposed agenda item for consideration. That is, when we install these sculptures, it seems to me that it would be great if we could have a process whereby we get enough notice that we can notify the town crier. The town crier can kind of do what they did with the first sculpture that went in. And there's a story in the town crier about it, and we can maybe post on Nextdoor so that neighbors can go and see what's going to get installed and bring their kids, you know, like with the dog thing. That might have been fun. I don't know if that's practically possible, but if it is, I thought it would be great if we could kind of have a process and a timeline for when you know that it's going to get installed. We can let the town crier know, et cetera, et cetera. So that's, I was thinking maybe we could propose for an agenda item, a discussion about, do we have a process? And if
Are
so,
you asking an artist to actually plan ahead? Because generally the artist calls John and says, I'm going tomorrow. Can you get your staff there? Right, John?
It's a little, there's a little more heads up than that. But I
Day after tomorrow.
2 days, yeah.
Though I did have I think it was the artist of the Dragonfly who told me, I think this morning, that they were available today to come get it. They said, well, we need a little more than that.
My case.
I'm gonna be in town.
Yeah, I will.
But if we had like,
Sorry, I will say for the all four of the recent sculptures, the town crier, I did let the town crier know. One of them they did not show up at. The editor did tell me that they just the person who would go was just not available that day. So I think they went to one of the last two ones today. were they there for one of them at least?
I mean, you know, we could do this. I mean, maybe we could bring our own camera or iPhone and take pictures and get it to the town crier and do a little write-up. That's kind of what we did for Everyone is an Artist. I mean, we just kind of fed them the information and it got in there.
So Jenna and I post on our Instagram accounts.
Well, there you go. You
The
guys are
day of.
And that kind of goes back to Hillary.
Trust me.
That goes back to Hillary's comment. I'm going to comment for her that if only we had the ability to post on the city's social media.
Or had our own for the Public Arts Commission. Yeah.
John is mysteriously on
You're
mute.
welcome to set up an Instagram account for the Los Altos Public Arts if you want. I'm not going to post on there.
I don't know that the city would love us for us to do that. I think the city would, I don't think the city would love for us to do that.
John is still on mute. Sorry.
Well, I will say I'm a little bit concerned if we are getting into a bit of a discussion. So
On
we can have a
that
future
note,
agenda item.
yeah.
I move to close the meeting.
Yes,
Before we close, can I just make one comment? And it's not about social media. It was just going back to what Commissioner Corrigan was saying about how we want to kind of put a spotlight on a new installation and with a town crier. What about if we had a ceremony, like not cutting a ribbon cutting, but had a ceremony once everything was installed for bring the artist, and the artist speaks about the piece and explains, you know, the medium, how it was made, what the thought was behind it, and maybe people would come, and it's kind of cool to hear just straight from the artist. And that would also be a little bit of kind of advertising for here's a new piece and for the city.
I love that idea.
Yeah,
That would
it
be
would
awesome.
like,
The only
it
problem
would
is
be like
the ones that
unveiling.
don't live
It would be
nearby.
like unveiling of the.
John said that we're getting too much into substantive discussions, but it's great. I mean, it's a great idea, but maybe it sounds like, Monica, it's ripe for an agenda item.
I think it is. I'm just going to throw out there that I know sometimes the artists come from a long distance and they bring the piece, they help install the piece, and then they head back home. It would be great if they could stay, but
yeah, the tower took all day.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that day, but another day.
We can add it to a future agenda and robust discussion.
Okay. On that note, my clock's at 7:13. I think my clock is 2 minutes slow, 7:15. Let's call it a night. Thank you, everybody. And John, if you have any questions about the budget stuff, let me know and let us know what day it's going to be going to City Council.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. It was lovely.